What is going on, Nuggets Nation, NBA fans? I am Tom Leuthner. Welcome back into Nuggets Today. As you already know, we got some topics to cover, so let's hop right into it. This first topic that I want to cover is actually, I'm going to transition right here. It's a quick note on Russell Westbrook. Not much, but according to NBA Central and Talk Basket on X, Tel Aviv really has no interest in Russ. The exact quote was, "To be serious, it's not true. There was no real interest and nobody approached him," which means that Russ is staying in the NBA and is still on the market. Denver still does not have a GM. I know that all signs are leading to either Ben Tenzer, since Tommy Balcetis is officially out of the conversation, or it's leading to this guy. That's the next topic right here, and that is Bob Myers. So Bob Myers is actually a very interesting GM candidate, if you ask me. I went in and I looked at all of his accomplishments and players that he's picked up, and man, oh man, let me tell you what I've seen and how I think he could work for Denver. So he's a two-time executive of the year. He was formerly Golden State's GM. If you don't know, he's working for ESPN right now, so it cannot be announced until the finals if he is the GM. And if you look at his history in Golden State, he's made some massive moves, right? He goes down, realistically, is going down in NBA history as probably one of the best GMs when it comes to making moves. And his first move was hiring Steve Kerr. And, well, maybe not his first move, but the first move I want to cover, rather, is hiring Steve Kerr. Now, Steve Kerr is probably going to go down in NBA history as one of the best coaches that we've seen, especially in the 2000s to 2030 marks. The guy's a multi-championship coach. He's a multi-championship player. I mean, the guy, he knows what he's doing. The only thing I have against Steve Kerr is the fact that I feel like he sort of struggles to develop players. But maybe that's not on him. Maybe that's on their staff. But you look at what else Bob Myers has done. And he acquired Kevin Durant. He drafted Draymond Green. He traded for Andre Iguodala and Andrew Wiggins. He drafted Jordan Poole. He drafted, Moses Moody, drafted Jonathan Kuminga. He's made the moves that Golden State has needed him to make in order to go out and win finals. He got KD. They won finals with KD. He brought in Draymond. They won finals with Draymond. He brought in Andrew Wiggins, and they won a finals with Andrew Wiggins. He was an all-star on Golden State. Brought in Jordan Poole, and they won a finals with Jordan Poole. But most importantly, as a Denver Nuggets fan and somebody who covers the Denver Nuggets, what he has done is he has brought in valuable role players, which is what Denver needs at this exact moment. The guy has a reputation for building teams around those kinds of guys. You look at some of the names, and these are just some of the names that are beloved in the Golden State community. Drafted Kevon Looney, brought him in. He brought in Sean Livingston, who is a guy who needed to adapt to a system because he had no other way to make it after a gruesome leg injury. He brought in Leandro Barbosa. He brought in Mo Spates. He brought in David West. He brought in all of those guys, and Golden State was able to succeed with that kind of talent on their team. I think that if it's between Ben Tenzer and Bob Myers, I would rather see Bob Myers, but I also wouldn't mind seeing Ben Tenzer. Like I said, Ben Tenzer has the relationship with the Euro guys, especially in the G League, and I think that that's sort of a step up, especially with Jokic on your team and being your all-star caliber or your star caliber and your best player, arguably the best player in the entire NBA. Maybe he goes out, makes some moves for guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic. Maybe goes out and makes some moves for some guys like Ben Simmons, Vasily Micic. Again, I think that there's some upside with Ben Tenzer because he's been in the organization longer and he has the Euro connection. But I also wouldn't mind seeing Bob Myers. And talking about Bob Myers, I'm going to cover somebody that Bob Myers actually picked up, and that's somebody, a name I just mentioned. That is a backup center, and I think he's a little bit of a sleeper as well for Denver. That's Kevon Looney. Now, you look at what he was able to do this year, and he was still able to be a good backup. Now, again, when I'm talking backup centers and affordable pieces, I'm not looking at anybody that's going to, blow up the market, that Denver brings in Karl Anthony Towns. I'm looking at somebody who's going to back up Jokic, give Denver those backup minutes, who's not going to be fancy and a sexy, and average 20 and 5, or 20 and 10. I'm looking for a backup center, and that is what Kevon Looney really is. I know he's a little bit smaller, played 76 games. He's been a durable backup. He played 15 minutes a game. In those 15 minutes, he averaged 4.5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Now, that's nothing amazing, but that is exactly what Denver needs at the backup position realistically. A guy who can come in, give you anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes, and will put up those kinds of numbers. When I say we can't rebound sometimes, if Jokic isn't grabbing the board, well, in those late moments, you need somebody else to rebound. Kevon Looney's going in there. And if you keep your starting 5, then guess what? Either Brown, Porter, or Gordon are sitting, and if that's the case, you could still run a lineup of MPJ, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Kevon Looney, Nikola Jokic. Realistically, that could work because Kevon Looney can play against 3, 4, and 5 on defense. He's not the best defender in the world, but he's a good defender. I mean, I think we've all seen it. The guy was a starting caliber player, you know, and again, he's only 29 years old. So it's not even that he's in his 30s yet, but he's a starting caliber player and was on a championship team. So I think that realistically, he's a great signing because I think that he'll sign for a vet minimum. I don't think that he's the most attractive person out in free agency that all these teams are going to target him for a good amount of money. I've seen that the Lakers might have him on their radar as well. So if Denver can scoop him up, if there's a GM in store, and I think if it's Bob Myers, that works out because Bob Myers drafted him. Bob Myers took the chance on him. So why not bring in Bob Myers, go get Kevon Looney, go make your moves that you need to make where, again, he's capable of making them. So go ahead and do so. Now, this last topic is something I implemented the last couple episodes, and I'm going to keep implementing it. Actually, unless there's any updates, tomorrow's episode is fully built off of a comment. So today's episode is a comment from Josh Moreno a few episodes ago that he proposed a 3-team deal. His proposal was the Clippers get KD, the Suns get Powell, MPJ, Najee, the Clippers 25 first and a 35 first from Clippers, and Denver gets Bogdan Bogdanovic, Drew Eubanks, and a Suns pick. Now, like I said, I sit on Fanspo all day and I try to build these trades and things that are realistic, not only for the community to talk about, but for myself, and things that I wish that Denver would explore. That trade wouldn't work financially. There'd be a massive swap in that trade, actually, and I think that the trade can be way better for Denver. I don't think that trade is good for Denver. I think that you're giving up too much and not getting enough back. I would love Bogdan on the team. I've been saying that for probably 2 years before I even started this. I would love Bogdan on Denver. I've wanted him since he was on the Hawks. He's a great shooter. He would work with Jokic. But the trade that would work financially is a trade that the Clippers would get KD and Cody Martin. The Suns would still get MPJ, they would still get Norman Powell, they would still get Najee and their first 2 picks. And in order for contracts to work with all 3 teams, Denver would end up receiving Royce O'Neal, Vasilije Micic, a 27 first from the Suns, and then from the Clippers, it would have to be Bogdan Bogdanovic, Drew Eubanks, and Derrick Jones Jr. Now, I know it may not seem realistic, but that's the only way that kind of trade works if you want all 3 teams to work financially. I was thinking about it too, and I was like, you know what, this trade isn't that realistic. But at the same time, I don't see why not. Bogdan's in his 30s. Royce O'Neal's in his 30s. Vasilije Micic is in his 30s. I actually don't know how old Eubanks and DJJ are, but I would assume that Derrick Jones Jr. is pushing around 27. And in return, you're getting a guy who in Najee and a guy in MPJ who are both young. The Clippers are getting what they want in Kevin Durant and Cody Martin, so they still get back because they get to keep Ivica Zubac. They get to keep James Harden. And they have a little bit of money to work with now. You get to keep Batum. You get to bring back Amir Coffey if you want to do that, who's only 27 years old, or just turned 28, actually. Happy belated birthday. So Denver would also have $2 million, would have a $2 million cap hit higher than what they have now. Eubanks and Micic are only a 1-year deal, so if they don't work out, you don't have to bring them back. I would also do it. I would love to bring in Derrick Jones Jr. and, like I said, bring in Bogdan Bogdanovic, 2 guys that if I'm Denver, I'm targeting for the last 3 years. I think that DJJ would be perfect with Jokic with backdoor lobs, hitting corner threes. Him and Aaron Gordon could be a dynamic duo. Watson would still be there on Denver. I think that trade would be great. Now, again, I know you're losing Michael Porter Jr., but there's going to be some talks about him next episode because, again, like I said, somebody commented about dumping his contract. So I made a bunch of trades and a bunch of ideas that would potentially get him off the team. Not that I want him off the team. Would I mind losing him for a package like this, 5 players where you realistically might not have to go out in free agency and sign anybody? Not at all. Is it realistic? who knows, because if the Clippers are a sleeper team, I still think Denver should go in and try to jump in and grab Royce O'Neal. So if you're able to get some more out of that, like Derek Jones or like Bogdan Bogdanovic, then go ahead and do so. Even if you get Bogdan, Derek Jones, and Drew Eubanks, Bogdan, Derek Jones, and Royce O'Neal, and two or three second rounders for MPJ and Najee, go ahead and do so. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Like I said, tomorrow's episode is fully built off of a comment, so please go ahead, comment who you guys want me to cover. Let me know how you think Denver should go about this offseason, what they should do, who's they should bring in at GM.